Probably have time for just one or two questions. Yes, Charles?
Bill, I have a question for each of our guests. Warren, I'll start with you. Of the millions of dollars that's going to be spent in our area for these highways, how many of those dollars are going to be spent with local or Ohio contractors versus out-of-state contractors?
By and large, the work is being done. I don't have any specific answers for you, just based on my familiarity with the projects and what's going on. But by and large, the vast majority of the work is being performed by Ohio contractors rather than out-of-state contractors. So that's what I'm experiencing here, and I have to defer to Robin as well. I would expect that to be the case in Toledo. As far as the Ohio Contractors Association and the hat that I wear there, there's a lot of these what we would call smaller projects that are going on right now. What we're missing in this year and going into next year and that we're concerned about are these major projects. So we're talking about $100 million projects, $150 million projects. Those are major projects that really keep the big firms going. What we are seeing instead are a lot of these smaller ones, and although $1 million, I don't mean to say that that's insignificant, but when you're trying to mobilize and get work and keep your business open, and all the people that use supply, all your supply chain and subcontractors and such that feed into the system, these $5 million projects, $10 million projects are not that, you don't make the kind of margins on them that you need to really keep a business going strong. So there's a lot of those going on now and are projected into the future. We need a federal transportation bill enacted sooner rather than later, which then will allow us to construct these larger projects and really have major impacts to the benefit of the region economically as well as for their transportation. Transportation is a cross-cutting industry. It affects you all. If it's not there, it's just you're choked by it. So it's very important that we be able to maintain our infrastructure and keep it going, moving forward. So with that,
I'm seeing the same thing in the city, and we're those smaller projects. We've had in the last few weeks, we've probably had a dozen projects bid, and they've all been, ours are smaller scale, so it's all local contractors that are bidding it. We have a preference system that our city council has approved that would allow us to go with the second bidder or third bidder if they're from the city of Toledo or from this region. We haven't really had that come into play on any of those projects. The local guys have been pretty competitive. Some of those Toledo Waterways Initiative projects have brought in some contractors from Michigan, someone from Detroit, Holland, Michigan. Those are the $5 to $10 million projects. But the roadway ones have been mainly the local Ohio firms.
Do you have any questions for me?
You mentioned for the 475 project running into poor soil. So how does one work with that? Do you bring in better soil? Do you just change the formulas on like rebar or concrete? What do you do? How does that work?
the answer is yes. Oh, you came up with a lot of the answers right there. With the poor soils, you have to change design. Originally, there were steel piles that were driven. Now, if you saw the drilling equipment, the equipment's much, much larger. You see the big steel beams going down much, much deeper. You see the wood lagging now that's in place. There's much more extensive concrete walls that are being poured to hold the embankments in place for the slope failures that are going on. So it's a number of things that they're having to make significant design changes through that region. You know, this area was the Black Swamp, and in some areas we have decent soils. Other places it's not good at all, where the residual moisture is there still after all these years. So there's a lot of changes that occur. And unfortunately, it's not like you can put soil borings down and find out that it's here or it's not there. You know, we do put borings down, but it's not consistent. It'll happen in one place and there'll be a seam going through, and other places it won't. So that's underground work. That's the nature of it.
I have a quick question. On the 475 corridor going westbound, is there any plans soon for a new exit between Talmadge and Central Avenue? Westbound?
Yes, there are plans. The answer to your question of soon, when we're talking these kinds of projects, we're looking at 10 to 15 years in planning. There is a plan and an approach that's being implemented now for a whole ringed freeway system, of which that's one portion of it. We are competing right now for projects in Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, for the kinds of dollars that it's necessary to construct this project that you're referring to. We have been successful in gaining some of the design money, but as far as the construction, it's not going to be anytime soon unless we get some more dollars to the table. So yes, there's design, it's contemplated, it's planned, but we don't have any immediate ability to actually construct. And I have to say, I want to make a point here that a lot of the projects that we're talking about are preservation kind of projects, mill and fill. When we design a roadway, it's generally for a life of at least 25 years, 30 years, and we can extend that life at least another 15 years or so by the kinds of things that Robin's doing and others by keeping care of it, maintaining it. If we don't, then eventually over a period of time we have to reconstruct it. And that's when it gets really, really expensive. So that's what we're trying to do, is trying to use the dollars in the most cost-effective manner that we can to preserve what we have and extend the life of it as long as we can. So as I say, a highway is like 25, 30 years and extend it another 15 years or more if we're fortunate. Bridges, we go like 75 years and we try to extend it. So if you look at the bridge, you know, the high-level bridge that we're talking about having to replace, that was built in the 1930s. So here it is, you know, it's right at that life. So we are getting the life out of the infrastructure that we have, and I think we're using the dollars as best we can with what we have, with the resources that we have.
I might add, the city and the county have undertaken a study on the Quarry Road exit to try to do some improvements there. Oh, excuse me, to try to do some improvements at that Quarry Road exit. So actually we've got a meeting later this month with the county to review the results of that. It likely won't mean a new interchange, but I think that if we can do some improvements there, that's a real bottleneck. So we're looking at trying to do some things there.
One final question.
Do you guys get annoyed with construction like the rest of us?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you guys get annoyed with construction like the rest of us?
Absolutely. I was really mad the other day when I got off on Monroe Street. I thought, shoot, I should have went up to Talmadge. But it's tough because we don't want to disrupt anybody's life. It's just to, you know, it disrupts everyone's life.
Thank you.